look at how things are being impacted, or what we call stress, how you feel, or what's kind of triggering the action. Triggers an emotion, right? And so you feel that somewhere inside. You feel bad, you feel scared, you feel anxious, and that triggers hormone changes in your body. Hi, welcome this week to the Naked Doctor Show. I'm Dr. Tammy.
I'm Lauren.
We have a great show for you today. It is the stress show.
Stress show.
It's so interesting because stress is sort of an overused word. When we talk about stress, it's usually life in general and the century that we're living in, and there's so much stress and
I'm so stressed
anxiety.
out. Yeah.
So stressed out. Yeah, it's just a term everybody uses.
Yeah. Well, and also it's like I feel like it's an easy thing to, almost like an easy way to narrow down life circumstances.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I'm just stressed out, or
like
it's because of stress.
So, yeah.
I didn't want to say that, but yes.
Lack of accountability. We talk about that a lot.
Yeah. And even if it is accountability, it's like sometimes it's not about. It may not be. You might be thinking something is stress, and it's like it's not really the way that your body's reacting, or you don't have to react in that stressful way. You know what I mean? To actually, to certain situations, which I know we'll get into, but
well, from a wellness standpoint, I look at stress from different angles. So there is literally the stress of having a mean boss yelling at you, or having lots of work deadlines that are almost impossible to meet. But then there's also the stress of, and we're going to do a whole show on diet, nutrition, and inflammatory food. So there's the stress of inflammation. And then there's the stress of the toxins and things that we take in through our environment, smoking, alcohol, drugs, all sorts of things. So all those have their own sort of stress on the body. And your adrenal glands, which are the little glands that sit on top of your kidneys that make your, quote, stress hormones, don't know the difference whether you're being chased by a bear, being yelled at by a boss, or eating foods that are causing inflammation in your body, having your hormones imbalanced, or not sleeping well. All those things can cause what we call stress.
which means that all of them are able to be managed, right?
Exactly.
So,
and that when we talk about the accountability, a lot of people kind of get a little triggered with that, and they're like, they want to use that to be a victim. So, like, I had a lady not too long ago who was a Walmart executive. Her weight wouldn't budge. We're managing her hormones. You and I both met with her several times, talked about all these strategies, all these different eating ways that she could do. Nothing happening, working out. She was stressed at work, and she quit her job and got a new job. The weight started falling off like that, And I told her the whole time, I'm like, I've had people that we've done FMLA leaves. I'm not recommending everybody do that, but people that have been super stressed out, and then you remove that main stress point, and everything changes.
right. And it's like, it all comes back around, to your mind and your brain, and your brain affects your hormones.
Absolutely.
And it's like, if you're, if you are happy and you're being, you have that sort of chemical in your brain, it's, what that's telling your body to do is totally different than whenever every day you wake up and you're going somewhere that you don't want to go. So when that's happening, I'm sure that spikes your cortisol.
Absolutely.
Or whatever other hormone that would trigger your cortisol and disrupt the rest of your hormones. But it's interesting that even if you are leveling your hormones, not being able to lose weight and stuff like that, because stress is a real thing. It's just not always what we channel it to be, but but it is a real thing, and it does actually affect your hormones.
And in our chalkboard segment today, I'm actually going to map that out so you can see how that all plays together physiologically as well as emotionally.
Yeah.
So, okay, probably time for a little break. We'll be right back with the Naked Doctor, and you won't want to miss. I also want to call this the happiness show as well as the stress show, because we're going to talk about how to not be a victim, how to take accountability for that emotional stress, and how to actually make some changes in your life that I think will be positive, that whatever's going on, your health, your wellness, your weight, whatever that is, it will help you strategize for that as well. So we'll be right back with the Naked Doctor.
Hi, I'm Denise, and I'm the owner of CryoFactor Wellness Center. We are a wellness center that offers alternative therapies to help people with pain, inflammation, weight loss, energy, people that suffer from any kind of autoimmune issues, people that have inflammatory issues. We offer therapies that decrease inflammation in the body. We offer whole body cryotherapy, infrared sauna, compression therapy, localized cryotherapy, and what we call super stretch and flex, which is using the fundamentals of yoga for flexibility and mobility and increased muscle strength. Cryotherapy is a 2.5 to 3 minute cold treatment where you step in the chamber using nitrogen cooled air to reduce the body's skin temperature, engaging your endorphins, creating a metabolic boost, which studies have shown helps to burn calories while you're in the chamber. Localized cryotherapy is cold therapy that targets specific areas, problems, injuries, in addition to the whole body cryotherapy that we use. We do a lot of facials, which help with fine lines, decreasing pore size. We also use it with skin conditions such as psoriasis, eczema, redness associated with rosacea. Infrared sauna does the same thing basically that the cryo does. It helps to reduce inflammation, improve skin conditions, helps with blood pressure, respiratory issues, helps to remove toxins. It heats the skin and works on a cellular level as opposed to a traditional sauna that just heats the air around you. Another thing that we offer here at the CryoFactor is CBD oil. We use New Leaf Naturals. It's full spectrum. It's not infused with anything, so you're getting the pure CBD oil. It is used to decrease inflammation. It's used for pain, anxiety, sleeping. It's an amazing, amazing product.
Hi, welcome back to the Naked Doctor. I'm Dr. Tammy.
I'm Lauren.
We are doing our interactive blackboard segment. We got some new little markers, so we got some fun colors. I'm super excited. So I want to kind of tell you the way I look at stress hormones, but first I want to tell you how to kind of look at the aspect of stress from emotions and why it's important to really consider that. So when I look at how things are being impacted, or what we call stress, how you feel, or what's kind of triggering the action, triggers an emotion, right? And so you feel that somewhere inside. You feel bad, you feel scared, you feel anxious, and that triggers hormone changes in your body. And those hormone changes can be cortisol. We're going to talk about a few of those hormones in just a minute, but the arrows go both ways. And so to me, when you look at how your life is, you're reacting, you're kind of doing this and you're doing this. So a lot of times people will come in and say, well, I want to get my hormones balanced, and that will help with the stress, which will kind of help with the sandwiched in emotional changes. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times if we don't deal with this, though, we're constantly chasing our tail. Mm-hmm. There. So it kind of is both. So when I talk about, you'll see me do this a lot. Basically, cholesterol is a hormone, a sterile hormone, which makes progesterone, which then makes a hormone called estrogen. And there are different kinds of estrogens. I'll just say estrogens, which then makes testosterone. And there's a side pathway here that makes cortisol, and you guys have probably heard of cortisol. Cortisol is your main stress hormone.
And the belly fat hormone.
The belly fat, right? So stay stressed, gain weight. And so I like to think of this, and I'm going to do it like I'm going to circle this in yellow. So this is going to be like the yellow side, and this is going to be the red side. And if you look at this, it's like a teeter-totter. Remember the teeter-totters that you were on when you were a kid, I don't even know if they have them anymore, but if somebody jumped off this end, then you had this situation and the person here busted their butt. So it's like between these male-female hormones and the stress hormone of cortisol, we have to keep that balance or you'll bust your butt, basically, right? So we do that through a couple different ways. We balance these male-female hormones through, guys come for their testosterone management, or women for perimenopausal, which can be as young as age 9, right? You start your periods, to postmenopausal when these crash. And we balance that, and that helps with cortisol as well. Food sensitivities, which we'll talk about that on a different show, which are inflammation that are triggering these, or different toxins in the environment that triggers cortisol, which is your body's natural anti-inflammatory. It's actually a protective hormone. We want to balance that out, and that's super important to anti-aging and to weight management and all those things. So if you find that it's harder to lose weight, first of all, you can look at the quote stress in your life or different things that are going on. There's a couple books I want to mention as well. This is the Belly Brain Solution. These are all available on Amazon. These are books that I've written, and this talks about the connection between the gut and the brain. So one of the things is we do comprehensively, and we're also going to do a show that's going to wrap up all these different aspects to weight loss, is healing the gut first to help with those brain hormones, which are your emotion hormones.
Yeah, because they said the gut is the second brain. Right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So with this, like if you're stressed out and your cortisol is high, is that throwing off the rest of these?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So you have irregular periods, you're going to have low libido, you're going to have, weight gain, all those kinds of things, heavy periods, or, for guys, that can be all sorts of different mood or, weight gain issues and things like that.
So also it's not necessarily because these could be off balance also, causing this to be low, but even if that's low, you could still be overweight, right? And
because it could go high or low because it can be depleted or used up. And when this gets depleted or used up, then you don't have a stress response, or because it's your body's natural anti-inflammatory, you ache, you hurt, fibromyalgia, joint pains, joint inflammation, and then inflammation can also go to the heart or the brain, causing Alzheimer's or heart disease. So it's not a benign situation at all.
And I know you're about to talk about this.
Yeah.
Question real quick about the cortisol. If that is, so aren't the adrenal glands associated with cortisol?
Absolutely. So the adrenal glands can make all these same hormones. So after hysterectomy or after certain stressors, absolutely. And adrenal glands also regulate other things like your blood sugar and sleep and mood and other things as well.
So sometimes if you're taking medication that's affecting your adrenal glands, that can play a role into affecting your cortisol, right?
Okay. Absolutely. Well, one of the things I want to mention too is this is my book, Dr. Tammy's Life Flip. And one of the things I talk about in here is how to deal with stress on the front
end. This book is awesome.
And one of the first things in here, so I have a list of 10 things that you can do, and you can get the book and read it if you want to, but appreciation. So when you are stressed or have any situation, it's like I just had a circumstance with my son. He's 14. He was being kind of a grumpy 14-year-old teenager, and I'm like, you always have a choice in any given moment to appreciate or not appreciate. And so like in the morning when he's grumpy, I'm like, well, if you don't appreciate me, I'm not driving you to school. You can get on the bus and you can be as unappreciative as you want to with all the other 14-year-old teenagers. And he's like, he makes that choice, and he's like, oh, I want you to take me to school. And it's kind of like this morning, I woke up and there was no hot water in the shower. And instead of being like, oh, my day's ruined and being grumpy about that, I jump in there, I take a cold shower, and I immediately jump into appreciation.
You're like, thank you, hot water, for existing.
Yes. And, I was appreciative to my significant other for being there to have the plumbers come out, and the plumbers came out immediately. So tonight I'm going to have hot water.
Yeah.
And it just, I could have been grumpy all day, but it changed the trajectory of my day.
And whenever I was growing up, I actually I had friends that they wouldn't have hot water at all, and so when we wake up for school, we would actually boil pots of water to make a bath, to be able to bathe at their house, which I was like 12 and I was totally fine with. And I just loved and appreciated being around them, but to think about like, I could have either been a, selfish victim to that circumstance, or, just appreciate the time I spent with my friends and really appreciate what I had and the things that I didn't have to do at my house, like the fact that I could go in there and just turn the left knob and get hot water. And that's with anything. It's you can have perspective, which will make you appreciate things, but also it's just like that. You could have been a victim to that circumstance, which would have played a role into the rest of your day, which your stressful energy would have totally been put on other people, and
the
it's
office,
like
my patients,
everything,
everybody,
which then is only circling back to you. So when you're walking around stressed and with a stressful attitude, you're really only perpetuating your own problem with that, which I know like this book is so good about teaching and helping with stuff like that, and kind of going through and finding those ways to get out of that stressful mindset, which is everything. That is like the foundation of your day. If you wake up stressed and you're like, ugh, or you can, find some ways to alleviate that and help keep everything balanced, including your hormones.
Yeah. One of my favorite tips in here is to zoom out. And so it's a little different than appreciation, but zooming out is just sort of going general about your life. Well, yeah, so I could look at, my water heater's out, but I live in a great house. I live out on the lake. I have a great, gang of people that I'm going to come work with today. And my life's really going okay. This is, nobody's going to die. And I love that perspective. It's all about perspective, right? Again, when you look
Which
at...
makes sense with zoom out, because you could see the big picture of
Yeah,
everything.
the big picture. And, one of the things that I look at when I look at perspective is that there are people that don't have, like you said, don't have hot water. And I do. And I have so many great things in my life, and I have so many privileges, and
also, if nothing else, you could always take a shower at the office.
Right, exactly. I actually thought about that too. That was kind of funny.
I think we have hot water here.
We actually have a house that our office is in, so we do. There's always a solution. So I think one of the things
There's always a solution. There is always a solution.
The problem is, no pun intended, the problem is that I think it was Einstein who said that the vibration of the solution is not anywhere near the vibration
of the problem.
So if you're stressed out and you're like just circling and
you're
this is the worst thing
tunnel.
ever, and you're in that tunnel, you can't see the solution. So sometimes you got to go rest, take a nap, take a walk, go exercise,
We
do
even
something
chat with somebody,
differently.
and that's where life coaching comes in too, is like, because that's very easy to get wrapped in that tunnel, especially the further along you get in there, and when you can talk to somebody that you trust, who is non-judgmental, who can see the big picture for you, then they can help you zoom out of that.
Absolutely.
And see everything for what it is, and have a different perspective on it, and be able to really be good and understand what decisions you're making, and be able to make better choices, and things that like,
you do that for me all the time. You are my life coach. So, yeah, you're absolutely right. I can be so stressed out and come to the office and be like, what do you think?
And you're like, that's not so bad. Okay.
Yeah, that's not so bad. All right.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with doing that. It's like everybody, it's always nice to have somebody to talk to and help you through your day. It's just we don't always have that in our life, or that person in our life that will be there for us, So, if that's something that you do need, we're here for you, and that's part of my purpose. And I love talking to you about everything that we talk about, and I love learning from you about all these things that you're so good at. And so it's a really great situation. So coming in here, able to find balance in your hormones and your mind and your life in general is such a beautiful thing. Yeah, and it helps with from here to...
Can't put a price on that.
Yeah,
there's
exactly.
like a value to that that's
it's like
beyond anything.
The freedom to just live, is free your mind, and the rest will follow. I love that song. It's a great song. But yeah, you got to get your mind right, and and be able to balance everything in your body, because that's everything here.
Yeah, it's everything here.
Right?
And what you put in your body. So if you're eating a bunch of sugar, and then you have those insulin crashes where you're completely tired after work, And that's when you have to be cranking out your work, and then you're not. And then the boss is yelling at you because you're not performing. And if all you had to do was just avoid eating those Twizzlers or whatever, and just to know that. So knowledge is power.
Yeah.
Eating foods that cause inflammation. You had the mushroom story one time where you came to work and you'd eaten mushrooms, which on your food sensitivity list.
I couldn't hardly hold my head up, and I didn't even think about it being my food sensitivity. It was like, it wasn't until I got here I was like, wait a second, could that be why I feel this way? And you're like, yeah, absolutely. And also my whole dairy panel, was all, I had a sensitivity to everything on the dairy panel, 2s and 3s, so that the maximum amount, and which I wanted to pretend didn't exist because, I love milk, I love cheese, I love eggs, and eggs are such an easy snack. So I was like, wait, what? Like, all these things I've been eating for years, I'm sensitive to. And what I didn't realize then also was that the bone spurs in my elbows was where the inflammation in my body was manifesting. And I know we'll talk about that more with the food sensitivity show that we do, but just an interesting concept. It's the whole package. It's everything.
It's all connected.
Yep.
And then not sleeping. So if you're putting a lot of toxins in your body, like, a lot of alcohol, it might make you sleepy, but then it disrupts your sleep cycle. So we'll do shows on sleep and things like that. But your hormones can affect your sleep. Low progesterone is one of we did just recently a progesterone show, but that can affect your sleep, which makes you tired and grumpy in the daytime, which tired and grumpy increases your stress in your environment. And really, when I think about what comes down to happiness, because we said we talk about happiness, is when your blueprint matches your expectations of your life. So, releasing expectations, and you and I talk about this a lot, when you have all these expectations of people and circumstances, and it's not about not caring completely,
right? But
it's
don't
about
just change
detaching just a little bit.
Yeah, doing your part, and then also being understanding of circumstances, and not. And also, like, just having reasonable expectations for things, because, like you said, expectations are okay when it comes to your boundaries with yourself.
Absolutely.
But expectation of entitlement is only going to cause you stress, because you will always be let down. I mean, on some level, when you live that life, So yeah, it's just there's definitely ways around. Ways to fight through that stress, and really it's just figuring out and pinpointing what's triggering it. It's the biggest thing.
And like we said, it's all super important. We're doing the weight loss series right now. If you don't get a handle and understand that connection, you're going to struggle your whole life. So this is about sustainability, getting to the underlying cause, the root cause of where your challenges are, and then everyth's just cake from then on.
Yep, sweet cake.
Absolutely. All right, we'll be right back with the Naked Doctor. I'm Dr. Tammy, the Hormone Queen. In my almost 20 years of experience in working with tens of thousands of patients, I found that hormones have everything to do with weight loss. There are fat burning and fat storing hormones, so you have to maximize the fat burning and minimize the fat storing hormones. I've created Dr. Tammy's 21-day metabolic solution, which will help you heal your metabolism and lose weight. Very exciting. So what do we have? We have my daily metabolic support, which is formulated with all the ingredients to help your fat burning hormones work better and to minimize your fat storing hormones. I also have a great whey protein if you need a little bit of a meal replacement or just to help with some of the appetite. Helps with that glucose metabolism, because let's face it, sugar storage, insulin, those issues are huge with trying to lose weight. And when you crave sugar, it's just no fun. So you're never hungry when you're doing this. Our Detox Complete helps heal the gut so that your body can absorb all these nutrients, because if you don't heal the gut first, then you're wasting your money on all this this stuff. So I wanted to make sure you have all those great amino acids and anti-inflammatories. And one of the things that we found is most people are not overweight, they're inflamed. And so you have to treat the inflammation for you to lose the weight and for it to be sustainable. I also have my secret weapon, which I absolutely love, which is methylated vitamins. This is L-methylfolate, and this helps clear toxins because most people are not only inflamed, but they're toxic. So this helps clear all of that and helps your hormones work better. And then we have a great probiotic. There have been studies that have shown that people who are overweight have different bacteria in their guts than people who are thin. So if you want to be thin, you need the thin bacteria. So this probiotic helps heal the gut, and all of these things together help your metabolism work better and help you lose weight faster. Welcome back to The Naked Doctor. We've had a great show this week, talked about a lot of really cool things. Hopefully this has helped you a lot.
Stress and happiness.
Stress and happiness.
You know, it's figuring out those things that, you know, those tools you can use whenever you are stressed, and not just taking, oh, I'm just stressed out, and accepting that as your fate, you know, because, you know, there are things that you can do when you're stressed, and there are ways to alleviate that. So, you know, now that you have those tools, you know, you can apply those and see how that affects everything else and the way that your body operates on every level, and your mind as well.
Absolutely. Check us out on Facebook, The Naked Doctor Show.
And Healing Art Centers, and we've got Instagram, The Naked Doctor Show, and Healing Art Centers. Website is healingartcenters.com. And, you know, hit us up, send us a message. You know, we will be as quick as we can to reply to you. We want to help, and if you have any questions, we will answer you. And yeah, come see us if you
come see us, help you balance your hormones, check your hormones, see what's going on, and we do life coaching and all sorts of really awesome things. So.
Which is another way to really help with alleviating stress and figuring out what those triggers are, and helping you create a good path for yourself and make decisions that will help you be less stressed and find how to find peace and happiness and some freedom in your life. So, yeah.
The last thing I want to leave you with is there's these end caps on your telomeres, which are in your DNA, which when that comes unraveled, your DNA can't repair and can't fix things like cancer that happens when your genes get turned on, or diabetes, or different disease, heart disease and Alzheimer's. And so to keep those end caps and those telomeres tight, hormone balance is super important for that. So, you know, keeping those stress hormones low, keeping that cortisol low, and keeping those other hormones balanced is really anti-aging. So if you're young, you might not be thinking about aging yet. I'm turning 50 next week, so that's very important to me. And as I'm kind of reaching this midpoint in my life, super important, because not only do I want to age gracefully and look well, I want to feel well too. So the last thing I want is to lose my independence.
With the outside and the inside to match.
And to be happy.
And this beautiful outside to feel and look the same on the inside.
Absolutely.
Which you seem to be doing a great job, so.
Yeah. All right, thanks for being with us this week. We love you very much, and we'll see you back here next week on The Naked Doctor.
Thanks for watching.